You're watching Traders Morning Setups with Dex the Algo Capitalist. Dex created his pulse wave price trigger reports over 2 decades ago, and he's been using them to ride the pulse waves as a full-time trader ever since. Find out more about Dex's reports and sign up for our next webinar to learn how to use them at pulsewavetrading.com.
Good morning. It's that time, even though we are running late. So hopefully everyone is doing well out there. And we're going to jump right into these charts. All right. So as you know, yesterday was CPI, and the market seemed to really appreciate those numbers. And so we had a pretty broad-based type of a rally. This morning, though, the U.S. dollar index is up 28 pips at 104.34. Euro is down 34 pips at 108.63. Pound sterling down 67 pips at 124.36. The Aussie is off 5 pips at 65.10. Bitcoin futures up 1,005 at 36,370. Ethereum futures up 47 at $2,031. Crude oil futures down $1.22 per barrel at $77.05 per barrel. Nat gas is up 7 cents at $3.17. Gold futures up about 50 cents, trading at 1,967 cents per ounce. Silver up 27 cents at $23.41 per ounce. Copper is up a penny at $3.70. Dow futures up 40 points at 34,927. S&P 500 futures up 9 1/4 at 45.20 1/4. The NASDAQ 100 futures up 66 1/4 points at 15,946 even. We have the Russell is down 1.2 points at 1804. We have soybean futures down a penny at $13.88 per bushel. Corn down 2 pennies at $4.75 per bushel. And wheat down 2 pennies at $5.69 per bushel. As far as morning 2-bar Charlie setups, let's scan. When I looked earlier, I didn't see any, but I was in a hurry. So we're going to rescan here. So far, nothing. All right. A couple of close ones. Okay, here we go. The NASDAQ 100 has a bullish 2-bar Charlie morning setup. So we expect an all-day up day and for the market to finish in the green. All right. I could have sworn silver had one last night, but then it broke it. So we were going to have that in an all-day up day in silver, but it broke it. But it still may happen anyway. All right. So here is what we got going on in market news today. Inflation cooled in October, leading one market expert to label it a game changer. Amazon is blocking promotions for employees who don't comply with the RTO policy. And a longtime Airbnb host sounds off the impact of New York City's de facto ban. But first, the startup world is not for the faint of heart. Long hours, stressful work, and layoffs are commonplace. And for your efforts, you're more than likely to fail. Still, tech entrepreneurs know what they're signing up for. For most, it's better to fail trying than to just be a cog in the wheel of a corporate giant. But what about their significant others? For many founders, there is a spouse or partner by their side, and while it's not their dream, that doesn't make navigating the headache and turmoil any easier. Business Insider's Malia Russell knows those challenges all too well. In the fascinating essay, she details her life as a founder's wife, watching from the sidelines as her husband's company tries to stay afloat during an unprecedented time for startups. Malia's account of her relationship with Kyle and his startup is equal parts entertaining, heart wrenching, and informative. It also provides another perspective on the high stress world of launching a company. As if being a founder's spouse wasn't difficult enough, Malia has the bonus of covering the space as a reporter. Imagine spending a good chunk of your workday researching and writing about all things that can go wrong in an industry the person you love is endlessly pursuing. It's like an emergency room doctor marrying a stunt performer. To be sure, everything Malia writes isn't doom and gloom. When asked Malia about the piece, she said it was the hardest thing she's ever written, but she found the process cathartic. Working on the story forced her to have difficult but important conversations with Kyle and address issues head on. She's long fostered but rarely communicated. That, in a nutshell, is one of the biggest takeaways Malia said she hopes other founders' partners will get from the piece. Communication is critical. And while that's true of any relationship, it's especially pertinent in the volatile startup ecosystem. Bottling up those emotions to be a spouse's relentlessly positive cheerleader can weigh on a person, Malia told. She also recommends finding people in similar situations. Being a founder's partner is the type of thing that can only be understood by being a founder's partner. Never one to miss an opportunity. Malia says she's happy to chat. All right, so what else we got going on before the opening bell? Well, inflation cools off. The consumer price index increased 3.2% on an annual basis, which was lower than expected and a smaller bump than September's 3.7% increase. PIMCO's former chief economist called it a game changer and said the Fed's next move will be to cut rates. Bank of America also seems optimistic the rate hiking cycle is over. While FundStat's Tom Lee said inflation might be finally hitting a wall. What to expect when you're expecting a bonus? We're a few months away from bonus season, where finance employees find out how big or little the discretionary part of their compensation is. One expert predicts another tough year, with exceptions in areas like equity underwriting and wealth management. While Wall Street's titans worry about a world war, the market shrugs. Big names like Ray Dalio and Jamie Dimon have warned about the state of the world following Hamas' attack on Israel, but the market seems unbothered, with the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite both up since the October 7th attacks. Leaked documents. Amazon is blocking the promotion of employees who don't comply with the company's return to office policy. Those who aren't going into the office at least 3 times a week will need a VP's approval to get the promised promotion, internal messages show. The latest update to Amazon's unusual contentious return to office policies. Google's lawyer reportedly visibly cringed when a confidential metric was revealed in court. Apple and Google have both been fighting against revealing details of their search engine agreement, but an expert witness accidentally leaked that Google hands over 36% of its Safari search ad revenue to Apple. I told you behind closed doors they conspire. Don't think that people are just beefing in public. No, that's just for your entertainment. Behind closed doors, they are touching and agreeing on a whole bunch of things, unbeknownst to you. So, Google, this is an expert witness, said that Google hands over 36% of its Safari search ad revenue to Apple. What else? What other little secrets they got in these little agreements? I told you they had changed the internet. They changed it, man. While everybody was not paying attention during the pandemic, they radically changed everything about search engines. What kind of results you get, everything. They've buried, billions of websites and blogs and stuff. It's like if you don't know the actual address of the website that you're looking for, good luck finding it. The results will never come up ever. It's really weird, isn't it? AI is going to force millions of workers to train for new jobs. The U.S. has historically been terrible at this. Just look at the loss of millions of U.S. manufacturing jobs in the early 2000s. To avoid the same catastrophe, U.S. companies need to make major retraining investments. Okay, I'm calling cap on that entire sentence. Retrain you for better jobs? No, no, that's not the truth. That's far from the truth. Think about it. If AI is going to assume the role of pretty much every job, especially the white collar jobs, and then robots are going to replace the manual laborers, you can train all you want to. You will never be able to compete with a robot. The fact remains the only physical human beings that will be required are the ones that maintain the AIs and the robots. And you don't need a bunch of people for that. So if you're going to replace all the pretty much just about every work person, they can train all they want. What are you training for? You got an AI to do customer service, and you got a robot to do manual labor. What do I need with a human being? It won't make sense. You're getting to a point where employment is going to be a thing of the past. The only people that are quote unquote employed will be those that work with the robotics, the software engineers that are writing the code for the AIs and maintaining systems. So if you're not one of those guys, one of those dudes, what doesn't matter what education you have. It doesn't matter how many doctorates you have from Ivy League universities worldwide. It doesn't matter. If you are not one of the software engineers that help develop the AI and maintain the AI, if you're not one of those, mechanical engineers that help build the robots and maintain the robots, there's no other job for you. Those are the only jobs that are going to be available, and you won't need but a handful of people. So take a company like Amazon. Let's say Amazon has 200,000 employees worldwide. Well, once they've replaced those people, they may only need 10 people. I'll be generous. I'll say they need 100 people. So you've gone from 200,000 employees to 100 employees. Because that's all you need. You just need the robotics and software engineer people. That's it. That's all you need. People to run the machines and run the AI, run the computers, make sure everything is working correctly. That's all you need. And then when a robot malfunctions and it needs to be replaced, you go in there and you fix it and then you're out of there. That's it. Those are the only jobs that are going to be needed. Every other job that you can think of is going to go away. Eventually, there will be no jobs. Eventually, a robot or AI or a mixture of both will be doing the work of humans. They already are. They already have been. AI has been working in the background in a lot of areas of life because you don't see it, you don't even realize that it's happening. It's crazy, man. But yeah, AI is going to take the place of all the customer service, and they're going to be able to replace, all the people. You won't need, you know, doctors anymore. Not really. It'll get to the point where you won't even really need surgeons. Not really. You won't need lawyers. And judges, not really. The AI can handle all that for you. Yep. Now, we are some decades away from the 100% takeover of robotics and AI, but the incremental process, you'll be surprised at how much and how fast things can and will develop within the space. So it's a lot to think about, but we're already starting to see it. I mean, look at some of the blue collar type jobs. Like let's go with retail. Cashiers were already replaced by self checkouts. All right, so for every self checkout machine, that's just one self checkout machine can do the work of several cashiers. All right, and do it better without making mistakes. There's not one self checkout machine that has an overage in the drawer at the end of the day, or underage in the drawer at the end of the day. There's not one of those that will make a mistake. They're going to do exactly what they're programmed to do. Think about it. In the future, in the not so distant future, those self checkout machines will become more complex. Once the AI fully takes over, they'll be able to do a lot and know a lot. And what they're going to do, those machines will be gone after a while, because they're moving toward the more higher tech, where you don't even need to go through a checkout aisle. You've seen the commercials: grab what you need and then walk out the store. You've already been debited in your account for all the items you have. The store will know what items you take off the shelf and what items you put back on the shelf. It will know all of that. That's where we're going. We're getting to that place. It's already like that. There are already stores like that in existence. You also know that there are restaurants like that in existence, where you go in and there's no human being. Everything is done for you, automated. Everything's automated. You go in, you type on a computer screen what you want, and then it's made for you. Just that simple. And you don't need a human being for that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe me, go ahead and Google it. Google about the restaurants that don't have any people in it. Yeah, they're already starting to prop up. So just think about how the convenience of computers are also going to have unintended consequences. And one of those unintended consequences is you'll need a whole lot less people. I mean, think about it. Even people who are in the delivery genre, or people who are in the trucking, they already have self-driving vehicles, even self-driving trucks. You don't have to worry about the trucker getting sleep or having to pull over or take a shower or use the bathroom or none of that stuff. The truck is going to go from point A to point B flawlessly. That's right. And then when it backs up into the warehouse where it's dropping stuff off, you'll have autonomous forklift machines to come in and unload the truck. It will unload the truck. You won't need a human being even in the process. It's all being automated. I know you're thinking, well, I'm an airline pilot, so they're always going to need me. Nonsense. Drones already exist. Drones the size of 747s already exist. You can fly a 747 without a human being anywhere in the cockpit. Already exists. And we're not going to talk about the taxis. They already have self-driving taxis too. You know that, right? If you didn't know that, go ahead and Google it. Autonomous taxi. You get into the taxi and it takes you where you need to go. No human being in the car, just you. I know you've seen the commercial. Come on. I know you've seen the commercial. Yes, they exist, folks. So whose job is that going to take? It's going to take all your Uber and Lyft people. It's going to put them right out of business, because they won't be able to compete with ABC Acme, with Acme Taxi. No human involvement. When you call the Acme taxi, it will come right to your front door, pick you up, and take you right where you're going. You don't have to drive. You can sit in the back seat and go to sleep and take a nap until you arrive at your location, and do so easily. Or talk on the phone, play video games on your phone or on your tablet, whatever it is you do. You don't have to worry about it. The taxi is taking you where you need to go. It's going to drive the speed limit and all that stuff. It already has GPS. It'll take the shortest routes. It knows what to do. All you got to do is tell it where you're going. And here's the fun part. When you book it, it already knows where you're going. So when it picks you up, it just goes right. You don't have to do anything. You just get in the car, close the door, and the car will drive. So you got autonomous airplanes to fly people around the world. You got autonomous trucks and cars. Well, did you know that also goes over to ships, autonomous ships and shipping? You won't need people involved in that either. Oh, you'll always need people to work the dock. No, you don't. Machines are already doing that. Machines have been working on the docks for a long time. And once they become fully automated, you won't need any people for there either. You don't need human involvement. A lot of things you think you need human involvement. No, you don't. If the airplane can fly itself, they don't need you. And at a lot of airport terminals now too, you don't have a human being ticket agent. They got kiosks now. You just go to the airline you want to go to, get your ticket, and go. And as far as boarding the plane, you won't need to have a human being there either. You'll just scan your boarding pass thing and go through the turnstile, and that's it. That is it. Or you're always going to need some kind of airline stewardess. No, you don't. You can have a machine, you can have a robot, AI, that has wheels that goes up and down the aisle, giving people what they want, what they request. It's just the way it is. You don't have to do anything. And the AI is flying. And it will speak to you in a voice, just like the captain of the plane would, with a human voice. Hi, this is Patrick. I'm your pilot today. I'm going to be taking you where you're going. And here's the weather. It'll tell you the weather. It'll tell you the conditions, all that stuff, just like they do now. But even better. Even better. I'm telling you, there's a lot of pros, but there are also a lot of cons and unintended consequences as a result of this. You've seen RoboCop. Well, RoboCop already exists. I know you've seen those dogs, those mechanical dogs. I know you saw the video during COVID, how the police dog was walking down the street with a loudspeaker telling people to, basically get off the street, go home. Hey, you, why you not wearing a mask? Put a mask on before I lock you up. Yeah, RoboCop already exists. And no, you cannot outrun it because it doesn't get tired. It doesn't have a heartbeat. You can't outrun it. It's not going to get tired. It can pursue you and chase you relentlessly without getting tired. You'll never go to sleep. You'll never run out of breath, but you will. And yes, they have some that can climb trees. So don't think, well, I'll just climb a tree. Nope. They have some that can climb trees too. And even if the one that's pursuing you cannot climb a tree, it can wait forever until you come down, because eventually you're going to have to come down off the tree. It'll wait. And don't forget, they've outfitted some of these too with armaments, with weapons and tasers. It can zap you and you'll fall right out of that tree. And then you'll be apprehended. Now, they may not have that part all figured out yet, but there will be a RoboCop dude, machine, whatever, whether it has wheels or not, or whatever, however it's going to look, they will be able to physically apprehend you, throw you in an autonomous police car with no people in it, and drive you to the police station, where when it pulls up to a particular door, the door opens, another machine will come out and grab you from the car and take you through the booking process and throw you in an AI prison cell. They'll call them smart prisons, smart cells. You're in a smart cell. The smart cell has a camera on you 24/7, and it's taking all your vitals, so it knows if you need medical treatment. It knows everything about you. It knows all your medical conditions. It can and has all your biometrics. When you use the bathroom, it's collecting data. Okay, you're diabetic, and according to your last waist assessment, your sugars are too low or your sugars are too high. An android is on the way to bring you a cup of orange juice or a piece of candy, or it's time for your insulin shot. Here comes the robot nurse. Oh yeah, it ain't that far away. I'll say within 50 years, everything that I've just said to you will be 100% already going on. I know. I know. Why NYC's Airbnb ban is a slap in the face to people like me. A New York City resident who rented their spare bedroom for years didn't qualify for a license under the city's new short term rental rules. Their finances now feel less secure, and finding guests has become more difficult. A Q&A with the chief product officer at Discovery Education, Pete Weir, dishes on how they're testing and using AI. Weir said that the tech isn't meant to replace teachers, it's meant to augment them. That sounds nice. It's not meant to, but it's going to. For those of you old enough to remember Max Headroom, do you remember Max Headroom? It was just a head at the desk, literally, and that was your teacher. It was a computer. Well, AI is just like that. You go into the classroom and there's no physical teacher there. It's just a screen. The blackboard will be replaced with a screen. And it'll have speakers so you can hear. And it'll be able to monitor everyone in the class. Yeah, all automated. Everything automated. Your professor is Mr. Centurion X, and they'll speak to you in a human voice. Hi, this is Centurion X. Welcome to Calculus 101, or welcome to Humanities 101, whatever. Or they may speak to you in the voice of Professor Snape. Turn to page 394. Who knows? But the technology already exists. It already exists. Meet the typical Henry. The typical profile of a high earner, not rich yet, is a 32-year-old with a college degree, six-figure income, and no kids. They also live in a city but have $80,000 in student loan debt to pay off. They love tying you down, shackling you down with debt. I tell you, unbelievable. In other news, the House managed to pass a bill avoiding a government shutdown just days before funding runs out. We already knew that was going to happen. Inside the most exclusive debutante ball in the world, where the children of the rich and famous come out to high society, there's one word missing from the Supreme Court's new code of conduct that makes the whole thing toothless. Here's how Goldman Sachs is aiming to win more trades from its biggest institutional clients. The Dow Jones has seen a dreaded death cross. Here's what it means. Well, I can tell you exactly what it means. But this is not the 1980s or the early 1990s. We're in La La Land. None of that mumbo jumbo works anymore. It just doesn't. Yeah, a death cross is when you have your shorter time moving average crossing below the longer term moving average, and it's usually the 50 period moving average and the 200 period moving average. If the 50 period moving average crosses below the 200 period moving average, that's a death cross. If the 50 period moving average crosses above the 200 moving average, then that is a golden cross. All right, so death cross means the end of a bull market and the beginning of a bear market, and vice versa. But that is not always the case. Sometimes you'll have that so-called death cross or golden cross only for the market to reverse and say psych and go right back to what it was doing. So nice try, Dow Jones. How to talk to your secretly overemployed friends. There's really no such thing as overemployed. To me, overemployed doesn't really exist. Nice little play on words, but let's be honest. Most people who have to have multiple jobs just to make up one job. So if you had a six-figure salary job that you lost, and now you have to work 3 or 4 jobs and side gig hustles just to make a fraction of that six-figure salary. With all those 3, 4, 5 jobs combined, you're still lucky if you can even break 50K. But you're working 3 and 4 times as hard to achieve half or less of the money you had at the six-figure paying job. And most people will never get back to that six-figure paying job. A definitive ranking of the new theme colors of the god-awful Slack update. Whoopi Goldberg is criticized online for saying Gen Z and millennials can't afford a house because they only want to work 4 hours a day. Wow. Hey, I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm going to leave that alone. Jeff Bezos' yacht reportedly cost $500 million and is the largest sailing yacht in the world. Chart of the day: investors haven't been this bullish on bonds since the depths of the great financial crisis. Well, first of all, I don't think that's honest. I don't think investors are truly bullish on bonds. I think what you've been seeing is the technical bounce off of a very low level. And you see, that's just it. Proof of the pudding is, as I'm talking to you now, the long bond futures are down a full point and 3/30 seconds. So much for being bullish. And you know what that means. When the bond price drops, the yields rise. So if you were a person that was about to purchase a home with a floating rate, you probably want to go ahead and lock that rate in now. I wouldn't let that float go another moment. What's happening today? Well, the 16th annual Steve Irwin Day at the Australia Zoo is today. It celebrates the crocodile hunter's life. He died in 2006 from a stingray attack. Yeah, my kids used to love watching the Steve Irwin show. That was tragic when he passed. Microsoft Ignite, an annual developer and IT professional conference, kicks off today. CEO Satya Nadella is expected to give a keynote related to AI. And in earnings today, of course, we have Target, Cisco, and along with a few other companies. All right, folks, I appreciate you guys kicking it with me today for this pre-market morning show. And you get to kick it with me a little bit more in the upcoming Thinking Outside the Box podcast later this morning, only on Rumble. The links are in the description of this video, or you can just go to pulsewavetrading.com and you can go ahead and hit it from there. All right. Or just look us up on Rumble. All right, folks, you know what it is, man. The system works if you work the system. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take whatever profits you can from the market and give none of it back. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Smash the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you already aren't, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.